Welcome, everyone, to Courageous Creative Conquerors. This is Jean Voice Dart. It's my belief that everyone has a gift of creative expression. We were born to express ourselves to stay healthy and happy. Whether you are planting a garden, writing a story, building a cabinet, sewing a scarf, or singing a song, what matters is expressing from the heart. And the creative and expressive arts are a healthy coping strategy that shifts us from trauma to triumph. So join me as we listen and learn key tips and techniques from our special guest and courageous creative conqueror. Our special guest today is Christine Tulis, harpist, singer, composer, and healing artist. Welcome, everyone. I'm Jean Voice Dart, and I have with me my special guest today, Christine Tulis. And she's going to be sharing with us her beautiful harp music and some slides of herself growing up and sharing her journey and the power, the healing power of the expressive arts. So welcome, Christine. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you, Jean. I am thrilled to be with you today.
And I'm just delighted to be here with you and to get to know you better. We'll look at a few slides here and you can tell me about your journey, your creative arts journey. Tell me about this.
Yes, so I was born on Christmas Eve, and that is me in the front on the left there. And I was born in 1964 in a little town called Marlborough, Massachusetts, outside of Boston. And my mother was an elder mom at the time. She was 41 when she gave birth to me, which at that time in the 60s was quite unusual. I'm the youngest of four children.
Are those Santa Claus hats?
They are Santa
Yeah.
Claus hats with white pom-poms and little red flannel smocks with three white pom-poms on the front.
Very cute. And so that's why you're named Christine.
Yes, Christine Marie. That's how I
Okay.
got my name.
And there you are at your Christmas tree. What have you got in your hand?
There I am, age 3, and I think I have an ornament or a ribbon in my hands. And so, yeah, that's my childhood home that I lived in until the age of 19 with my family. And so Christmas was always very, very special for me because it's a very special time of the year anyway. And plus, being my birthday and the fact that I was named after Christ was very significant to me always. And my mother was a very, very devout Catholic.
It looks like you got a baby doll for Christmas
Yeah.
under the tree.
Yep.
Is
Yep.
that a red velvet dress? I think I had one of those.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
recognize the needlework up at the top. Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's look here at the next one. And this is the same day. And
Same
you just look
day. Very cute. I just love this picture of me because I am very mischievous. And I feel like that picture just really captures this joy that I have, that I had, that I came in with, that I
uh-huh.
lost for a while, but that I've reconnected with.
Yes, very good. So you said you lost that joy. Did you have a pretty normal childhood, or were there some things going on that made it difficult for you during childhood?
Yes, unfortunately, there was a lot going on during my childhood. So my parents had a very, very difficult, tortured relationship. My mother, she was a great mom. I always felt very loved by her, but the trauma in my family really came from the dynamic between my parents. And so my father was really cold-hearted, and
Oh,
he had many, many affairs during their entire marriage, which was long. It was 25 or 30 years that they were actually married. And they did end up getting divorced when I was 7. And that time, like the ages of 5, 6, 7, was very traumatic for me because I was the youngest of 4, so there's a big spread in age. And
Mm-hmm.
so my next oldest sister is 8 years older than me. My brother was
Oh,
16 years older than me, and then my eldest sister is 17 years older than me. So during the thick of this divorce and the chaos and the affairs and on top of it, my mother did start drinking too much alcohol as a result of the pain that she was in. And there is alcohol in my lineage, alcohol abuse in my
mm-hmm.
lineage. Her father was an alcoholic. And so, that's just some of the darker elements that were present in my early life.
At this age, did you have an awareness? I I think at this age, there is an awareness, but maybe not cognitively everything, but there's an awareness that something's not right, something. How were you
Yes.
feeling with all that going on at this age?
Well, so this in the picture, I'm 3. Yes, I was becoming aware that things in my home were not peaceful, were not happy. Yeah, it was really
Yes.
torturous to my little pure little heart. And there I am again
So
with
there you
at
are, a
my
little bit
aunt's.
older there.
I'm a little older. This is at my Aunt Jerry's home, one of my beloved aunts, one of my mom's sisters. My mother was one of 5 children. And again, and that was my favorite dress at the time, and that is definitely red velvet with
Red
the
velvet.
frilly lace around the
Yeah.
wrists and the collar. And yeah, I loved very feminine things even as a little girl.
Yes.
Yeah. But by that age, yes, we're in the thick of the trauma by this age. And in fact, one of my most traumatic memories was my mom, my dad, my sister Anne Marie, and one of her friends and myself we were on vacation, actually, unfortunately, in Hyannis, Massachusetts, which is on Cape Cod. And my father's girlfriend decided to show up at the hotel that my family was staying at.
Oh,
And shortly thereafter, my mother learned that this woman was there, and my mother went off the rails. She hit the roof. She was absolutely upset, angry, hurt. By this time, I'm back in the room with my parents and my sister Anne, and my mother was screaming and crying. Her heart was
oh.
broken into a million pieces, and she declared, "I want a divorce. We are done. I am done with you. I'm done with this insanity. This is
And you
over."
saw that, you witnessed all that.
I witnessed and I felt it. Yeah.
So, what is happening creatively at this age? Are you uh, obviously you're very much involved with the arts, not just the harp, but in other different ways. Were you
Oh, yeah,
introduced to music, drawing, dance, singing,
totally.
different
All of it.
arts at an early age? And
Very much so.
who introduced that to you?
Yes. Well, music was very much a big part of my life. So this home that I'm in this photograph, this is my Aunt Jerry's apartment, and upstairs from Aunt Jerry was my grandmother, my mother's mother,
Oh,
Grandma Boudreau.
how nice. Yeah.
Yes. And we went there every Sunday together, every Sunday during my childhood to Watertown, Massachusetts, to visit Grandma.
Uh-huh.
And Grandma, by the time I was born, was quite elderly, quite advanced in age, but she was a musician. And she had an old, clunky, upright piano in her dining room that I used to sit down at this age here and play around,
Oh,
make things up. And
that's lovely. There you
yes,
go. There's that
yes.
heart connection, that time to express and care. And
My grandmother had a beautiful portrait of Saint Cecilia on
mhm.
the wall, who in the Catholic tradition, Cecilia is considered the patron saint of music because she would have
Oh,
angelic encounters and she would perceive the inner sound, and she was a musician. And so there was that piece too. So the spirit piece with music and healing and feeling good, that the music helped me feel better. I
Yes.
also loved to sing even at that age, even though I was very shy. I was in the children's choir in my church, and I was kind of given some prominent roles because,
Yes.
I had a good voice, and my
Yeah.
mother loved to sing actually. So I inherited my voice from my mom. But
Mhm.
she had, for all of her heartbreak and troubles, she had a very joyful spirit as well. And she
Mhm.
loved music, and she would sing me Mills Brothers songs, and she grew up in the 40s. She was born in 1923, so she just loved all that music from the 40s. And
Yes, my mother did that too. All those
yeah,
big
yeah,
bands and all that. Yeah, yeah.
big bands, absolutely. And so there was
Yes.
always music playing in my home of all
Lovely. Well,
kinds.
let's look at this next photo here. This looks like you just look so happy there.
I am ecstatic. This is a very important photograph to me. This is the very first picture of me with my harp. My dad took this picture, actually. And this is my favorite kitty of all time. His name was Misha, and I got to have him for 10 years. This is the same harp that I have right here, 30 some years later.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know
Same
that. That's
harp.
the same harp.
Yes.
Or did your parents decide that for you? Or
Oh no.
not everybody's parents buy their children harps. So this is
No, I have a very, really outrageous story with the harp. I had no intention. The harp did not even exist in my reality until this very fateful day in 1987 in August. It was a special weekend, actually. It was the Harmonic Convergence weekend, August 16th and 17th. I traveled to Southern Oregon to a beautiful place called Trillium Farm, where there was a celebration going on to celebrate this special weekend, this harmonic convergence. And I heard this beautiful music in the air,
Mhm.
these magical notes just coming from the house where I was walking toward. And I'm walking through this beautiful grassy field to get there, and I couldn't quite place the instrument. It sounded like a guitar, but it was different, and I wasn't sure what it was, but it was absolutely beautiful. There was a young man about my age at the time, 20 something, with long brown hair, sitting on this outdoor deck playing a Celtic harp, just like this. And I was standing there listening and taking it in, and all of a sudden, I started having a very profound and strong reaction. And I literally felt it in my body, where
Mm.
in my heart, I felt like I was being hit by a tidal wave
Oh
of
my
energy.
goodness.
Yes, and it was like this mixture of rapture and ecstasy and
Hmm.
grief and longing all at the same time. And my heart literally felt like it was exploding into a million pieces. And I started sobbing from the depths of my soul, just crying. The tears were pouring down my face. And it was opening me. And
Mm.
then I literally felt the top of my head, which those of us in the healing arts know there's an energy center here called the crown chakra. I felt like it was like an aperture of a camera opening. And then I felt like I was standing under a waterfall of divine love.
That's so beautiful and poetic and amazing. So you would say this was a spiritual experience that you had?
Completely
Hmm.
spiritual experience. It was a spiritual awakening
Hmm.
experience because it was like being literally receiving a gift. It was like the divine reached
Mm.
down that day and touched me here, and all this beautiful energy and love came into my body.
And what happened to you after that?
Next thing I know, I open my eyes and there was a bench next to the harp player, and there was an older guy with white hair next to one empty seat, the one empty seat on the bench that was there right next to the man playing the harp. And the man invited me up to sit, and I
Oh,
went there and I sat, and now I'm sitting right next to the harp player, right next to this beautiful, gorgeous Celtic harp. And I literally felt my consciousness go into what
mm,
I would call the inner worlds,
mhm,
traveling down and in, down and in, down and in, into the most peaceful, contemplative, meditative state imaginable. And while this is happening, I start to receive impressions of myself as soul in other lifetimes, in
mhm.
previous incarnations in time, starting in ancient Egypt. And this timeline kind of rolled out of Egypt and Greece and Rome and France and Ireland and England and Italy, Renaissance times, and then kind of going off planet. And I was in this realm of light and sound and beauty and fairy beings dancing around,
Wow.
angelic light beings.
That
And
sounds like a movie, I think.
this life changing
Yeah.
spiritual experience was how I met this instrument
Oh,
at
that's
the age of
beautiful. Thank
22.
you so much for sharing that with us. Well, let's take a look at your, after that,
Yeah,
then did you say, I'm getting a harp, or what did you say?
absolutely.
You did, okay.
Absolutely. I told my mother my harp story, and she said, well, then we have to get you a harp.
Oh,
And so it was, in fact, my mother who gifted me
how
with the harp.
beautiful.
Oh, and what I forgot to say earlier, it was my grandmother who would hear me playing her piano, and she suggested to my mom that my mom get me a piano.
Okay, so your journey is phenomenal. You had these spiritual experiences with hearing the harp and then shifting yourself in terms of what you're going to do with your life. You knew that the harp was for you. Your grandmother, your mother supported you. So, can you tell us how you would define yourself? After that occurred and you got your harp, you became something. And how do you define where you are in this life right now and what you're doing?
Yeah, well, it was really the harp and my exposure to the healing arts at that time, to massage therapy, to Reiki healing energy, to sound healing. This whole idea of healing with sound was very, very primary for me at that time. And I have pursued all of these things. I mean, really, I've spent the last 30 plus years integrating my profound love of the harp and of composing songs and singing and performing and being a hands-on practitioner, therapist, combining massage therapy, energy healing, and sound, particularly using some very specialized tuning forks that I have. And it's profoundly effective at helping to open muscular tension, to relieve pain, to open people emotionally. It's just really profound. They feel something. They feel something very deep because the harp really has very deep archetypal connections to the heavenly realms, to the celestial
Mhm.
realms. They are associated with.
And you write your own music, or you create your own music, and it involves singing and playing the harp. Is that right?
Yes, I do. I create songs out of mystical poems, either original poems that I receive in meditation, contemplative states. I kind of tune in. I ask, basically, I ask to be given new
Mhm.
songs
Okay,
from the creative life force, and I write them down.
beautiful.
Or I take other poems that already exist, like from the poetry of Rumi or Saint Teresa of Avila or other people, and I create songs out of that.
That connection,
Yes.
divine connection. So, how important is your connection with God? Very
It's the center point of my life,
It
to be quite
is.
honest.
Yes, okay.
I
So
really,
this is all a spiritual experience for you.
Oh, absolutely. Every moment. And my
Mhm.
quest is just to share as much love as I possibly can through music, through the healing arts, through relationship, talking with people, and because I went through my own trauma as a young girl, as a teenager, certainly, I've gone through so much inner darkness. I really know those realms. I
I
know
see.
that dark place. And my brother, as a matter of fact, took his life. My
Oh
elder
my
brother took
goodness, we
his
didn't
life.
even talk about that. So
Right.
you've had
There's a lot to
multiple
share
layers
there.
of trauma,
Oh,
which
yeah,
ignited
absolutely.
this fire in you to help others because of that
Yes.
download that you received when you heard the harp way back when.
Yeah.
You want to give that back.
Yes. And I knew it was from a divine source. And I always felt connected to God, honestly, like I said, from a child being born on Christmas Eve. And I've studied so many spiritual traditions. There is so much beauty in all of the spiritual
Uh-huh.
traditions of the world. But it really all comes down to love. Love, 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 love. Love is it. And so that's my personal spiritual practice, is to be that as much as I possibly can in the clearest way possible, and to be of service to other people. And what a joy that I get to be of service to people through the
Oh
things
my
that I
goodness.
love to do and love to share.
You're just really touching my heart, and I see that you're a beautiful soul and that you are speaking out to people of all religions. It's a spiritual experience that you had, but it's all about love, is what you're saying. It's just about love. And you had that strong background massage therapy and combining that together with the music. So can you play for us right now? I know that our listeners would really love to hear you play the harp. As you said, it's so beautiful and it speaks to everyone.
I'm going to just be in the moment, and I'm going
Okay.
to just play what comes through.
Thank you so much. That was so lovely. You know, when you're doing the arpeggiate, it's
Glissando.
really busy. Yeah, glissando. It sounds like rain.
Yeah,
Sounds like rain.
the
Yes,
water. The harp is very connected to water, the water
yes,
element.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Very fluid. How lovely. What a treat. I'm sure everybody's going, yeah, yes, or they're zoned out. They've gone to another place.
Yeah.
It's very relaxing. Thanks so much, Christine, for that beautiful music again. Thank you. So we're looking here at your CDs. You have several here. And if they want to find out more, they can go to christinetulis.com. That's easy to remember there. Yeah. You work with people privately.
Yep.
Do you work in groups or workshops or things like that, or just
Oh,
private?
sure. Um, I do weekly sound healings as well with the harp. I call it Tranquil Tuesday. I do it every Tuesday by
Oh,
donation
how
on
lovely.
Zoom.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and music is so that music creates worlds itself. Just entering into music, we're suddenly somewhere else. We can go anywhere.
I'm trying to be the devil's advocate a little bit and listen to what others might be thinking and
Mhm.
just put that out there.
Yeah.
So we talk about going to other worlds with music, and I definitely do that as well. What about if someone says, "Are you just hiding or escaping from the pain by just always going to another place?" What do you say about that as a sound therapist or sound healer, Reiki, energetic practitioner? What do you say about all that?
Yes, I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, yes,
So I am an advocate of being with your pain and feeling your emotions fully and processing it. We must process it in order to be free of it.
yes, yes, we're on the same wavelength there. Yes, I think
Yeah.
and you mentioned earlier about love, and
Yeah.
I think it's about not escaping the pain. It's
Right.
about feeling it
Yeah.
and then letting love in to that,
Right.
wrapping it in love. And the heart does that beautifully. And so it's
Yes.
feeling the emotions, letting them go, letting them flow, wrapping it all in love, loving it, not hiding from it, not burying it, not denying it,
No.
facing it with the power of love standing there with us. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
and having the support, people need support to go
Mm-hmm.
into these places. So I really recommend that if anyone out there is dealing with their own trauma, their pain, and the thing is too, as the decades go by, these things can get so built up and
Yes.
they can start creating disease in the body.
Making us sick. Yeah. And so if there's those out there that went through that and they're really connecting with you and they
Mhm.
have this nudge to work with the expressive arts, can you give a tip of how they can do that for themselves?
So I would say definitely start with where you're drawn. If sound is what calls you, you can even get just a simple instrument, just a simple recorder or a Native American flute or or certainly a harp or a guitar or violin or cello. Just go where you're drawn.
Or
Go,
your voice, just
yeah, or your
your
voice, of
own
course,
instrument
absolutely, or
that you're given.
drums.
Yeah.
Drums, it can be so really simple and just, you know, create that special time for yourself. Carve it out. Make sure that it happens, even if it's only 10 minutes, 3 days a week. Because some people say, oh, but I'm too busy and I have children to take care of and jobs and work. And I just want to encourage you to prioritize your own healing. And if we're depressed or feeling like life is hopeless or like we're just looking at dead ends, invite in the divine, whatever that is for you, the universe, synchronicity, whatever name works for
Yes,
you,
thank you
whatever
so
concept.
much. That's so important, and I appreciate you encouraging others to do it for themselves.
Yeah.
Myself as an expressive arts grief and trauma coach and registered therapist, I'm not trying to heal. I don't want to heal I don't heal other people. I encourage them to do it for themselves.
Yeah.
I encourage them that they can do this, that they tune in and listen, invite God if you have a faith-based life
Mm-hmm.
to join you, or just tune in to that pain and whatever it is that's going on. Listen, because you've got it. You've got this. And find your own way, as you said, what makes you happy,
Yeah.
what opens your heart, and
Yeah.
bring that into it. That's what this is all about, folks. And it's just been such a pleasure to have you here, Christine. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your music with us and your journey and inspiring everyone to do the same. We're really grateful to have you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jean. It has been such a pleasure connecting with you and sharing.
And thank you, everybody. Thank you for your support of the expressive arts. And we'll see you next time. Okay, bye, everybody. Bye. To see more Courageous Creative Conquerors videos, join the weekly Creative Community calls, or learn more about private sessions, visit jeanvoicedart.com.